royal honey.
This
Royal
is honey. Then super hot.
What the hell?
Put it in your mouth. It gives you a long erection for a long time.
Yeah, 3 days. 6 days.
3-day erection.
I can do.
I don't know what you.
Bro, they trying to jump me, bro.
Get your freaky ass on!
So now that it's only coming up in a few days, I think it's time to talk about UFC 310. Lowkey, I think it's kind of going under the radar. I think it's a really good card. I think people are kind of underrating it for a few reasons. Number one, because Pantoja is headlining it, flyweight champion, probably one of the least popular male champions. Also, you know, John Jones literally just headlined. John Jones is, you know, the main star of the UFC, literally just headlined UFC 309. So I guess like 310 kind of went under the radar. And also, another reason is because the main event, which was supposed to be Bilal versus Shavkat, unfortunately got cancelled. So, you know, Shavkat's still fighting on the co-main, right? But yeah, let's just go through the fights. I'll show you guys how good this card really is. So the first real fight of any note is Cody Deran versus Joshua Van. Look, it's kind of crazy that Joshua Van is fighting within the rankings after getting knocked the hell out.
Oh!
And also, probably doesn't help that the person he got knocked out by might have the worst haircut in the history of humankind. And listen, yeah, for all those Joshua Van fanboys out there, I know he's gotten a win since that KO loss. But anyway, as far as the fight goes, I'm not really too sure. You know, we've seen Van not only get knocked out, but he was actually losing quite a lot of that fight as well. So we know there are some weaknesses there. Obviously, Cody Durden, I don't know, a bit of a hit and miss type of guy. He's like number 13 ranked. To be honest, I do think Joshua Van will get it done. I don't know how, maybe probably just decision, but yeah. Next fight, and to be honest, this is a fight that I don't really care about. Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders. To be honest, people just rinse this former champion thing just for titles. Like, come on, Chael, bro. What do you mean UFC champions on undercard? Acting as if like they're current champions, bro. Chris Weidman fell off like what, years ago. And to be fair, Aljamain Sterling, that's valid, but you know, people just rinse this former champions thing just to get, you know, clicks and stuff. Bro, if he wasn't a former champion like 10 years ago, then no one would care about this fight. You know, these guys are both old, washed up. Chris Weidman's 40, the other guy's 37. As far as who's going to win this fight, I genuinely have no idea. I don't really care, to be honest. I think Chris Weidman should probably retire after this fight if he does win. I mean, well, it doesn't matter if he wins or loses. I think he should just retire in general. But yeah. Next fight, Randy Brown versus the man who the French people all love, Brian Battle.
Hey, I know y'all didn't think the Butcher was gonna lose in a fist fight to a French dude. I know.
Are you serious right now, bro? Like, are you serious right now?
Brian Battle is funny, man. Anyway, let's talk about the actual fight. This is actually a good matchup in my opinion. You know, Randy Brown, he's an interesting character. He gets a lot of wins, but he loses to all the good opponents, right? If we look at his losses, within the UFC, he has 5 losses. All his losses are within the UFC. He's got 5 losses. One's to Michael Graves, one's to Bilal Muhammad, one's to Nico Price, Vicente Luque, and Jack Della Maddalena. So he's basically only lost to, you know, pretty good high-level opponents. But apart from Nico Price, but that guy, fam. But anyway, compared to Brian Battle, 11-2 record, you know, we saw in the last fight, he did get a TKO victory over Kevin Doucette, some random French NPC brother. You know, his only loss really is to Rinat Fakhretdinov, but I mean, that's valid. Look, I feel like it could go either way, but I'm slightly leaning to the rude boy Randy Brown. So yeah, and he's from Jamaica, real bad man, you know. So probably go for Randy Brown. He's 6'3" as well, so he's got that height advantage. But yeah, I'll go Randy Brown for that one. Next fight we have is Movsar, the UFC's #1 decision merchant, even more than Bilal, maybe even more than Merab. I don't know about that one, but yeah, and he's taken on the former champion Aljamain Sterling, well, former bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain's only had one fight at featherweight where he fought Calvin Kattar and he did win that. Probably was the worst fight on that whole pay-per-view, UFC 300, of course. But yeah, I mean, Movsar's undefeated. Aljamain 24-4. I really don't know how this is going to go because Movsar, we've seen he's a good wrestler, right? He just has a lot of decisions. That's about it. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while. So he's quite an inactive fighter, if I'm being real. But he did beat Arnold Allen at the beginning of the year, who was a very good opponent. But to be honest, that experience and skill, we've seen Aljamain Sterling, even though I don't like to admit it, and a lot of people don't like to admit it, he is a very good wrestler, a very good striker. Overall, he's a very good fighter. So yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I think it could go either way, but I will probably go with Aljamain Sterling, just because he is so well rounded. And yeah, next fight, Vicente Luque versus Themba Gorimbo. This was originally supposed to be Vicente Luque versus Nick Diaz, but I don't know what the hell is going on with Nick Diaz. This is the second time it got rescheduled, and he pulled out again. So I don't even know why he wants to fight again. He hasn't got a win in 10 years, but that's up to him, whatever. Anyway, it's good to see that Grimbo's getting the replacement for a shot off the rankings, because he's a nice guy and he's actually on a pretty good win streak, 4-fight win streak. He picked up a win against Nico Price a few months ago at the Royval versus Tyra fight night. As far as who wins, I do think that Vicente Luque will win, just because I low-key think he's actually underrated. I think he's very skilled. He does have quite a few losses, of course, but he's ranked for a reason. Obviously, he's got that crazy win over Bilal Muhammad. Obviously, that's not really that valid anymore, but yeah, I mean, number 14 ranked, so I guess we'll see what happens, but I do think that Vicente Luque will get the win here. Next fight, and oh my days, I cannot make a better matchup if I tried, man. Anthony Smith versus Dominic Reyes. Loser retires, and guess what? Winner also retires. Hey!
Oh, shut up, nigga.
But yeah, anyway, like I was saying, obviously these guys are both kind of washed now. Dominic Reyes went on some losing streak after he lost the Jones fight. A lot of people say that he did win that fight, he got robbed, and it ruined his career. Also, Anthony Smith, long-time veteran of the UFC, hit and miss, lost his last one against Roman Dolidze. To be fair, Dominic Reyes did get a win in his last fight via knockout, so fair enough for that. As far as who do I think is going to win, bro, knowing this fight, these guys are both going to find a way to lose, bro. I don't know how that's going to happen, but Anthony Smith has low-key got some good wrestling and submission game. I think maybe he can latch up a submission on Dominic Reyes. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be any knockouts in this fight. So yeah, I think I'm going to go Anthony Smith, to be honest. Next fight, Kron Gracie versus Bryce Mitchell. The return of Bryce Mitchell. I never thought we would see it. But obviously, because for certain reasons, we all know out in his last fight, he got knocked the hell out. Like, when I say that, yeah, normally I'm just exaggerating. No, in his last fight, he got knocked the hell out. Bro, when people are saying, oh, people can die for this, but bro, this is the type of fight that people look at, yeah? Bryce Mitchell getting knocked the hell out by Josh Emmett. But yeah, anyway, I didn't think we would actually see him back again. Maybe his chin is so bad that he just gets knocked out by Kron Gracie as well. But to be honest, I do think Bryce Mitchell will get this done. He was undefeated before, the Josh Emmett and Ilia Topuria fight. And I think we are forgetting, he is a very good fighter. He's got good submissions, good grappling. And I think he can get a submission on Kron Gracie. So I hope that he does get that done. And I hope he doesn't get knocked the hell out again. But I guess we're just going to have to see. Anyway, next fight is Gon versus Volkov. To be honest, I'm not really that excited for this fight. I know, obviously, it got rescheduled. There's a lot of rescheduled fight on this card, actually, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is one of the most high-level fights you can see. That's fair enough. But I don't know. I feel like these guys are both kind of decision merchants. Okay, look, I know they all have a lot of knockouts yet, but I feel like for heavyweights they don't really have that much power. Like one punch knockout power. I don't think that either of these guys have that. They're more of like a TKO / decision kind of guys. So I don't really think there's going to be a knockout in this. But as far as actual fight goes, obviously they fought before and gone kind of, won pretty easily, unanimous decision. But I think, since then, Volkov has definitely improved. Obviously that fight was all the way back in 2021. So, to be honest, it's tough to say. Obviously, Sorogan's been out for a while. We saw Volkov recently against Pavlovich do pretty well. And obviously get a decision victory. So I do still think Gon will win this fight. But you always have to be careful when you're fighting Volkov. He's a very long guy, but 6'7". I think he's the tallest guy in the UFC. But yeah, I do still think Gon's striking will outclass Volkov's. So yeah. Next fight, the co-main event, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Garry. Both undefeated fighters. It's not very often you see, undefeated fighter versus undefeated fighter, especially this high up in the, in the skill, in this level of skill. Obviously, Shavkat, 18 wins, 18 finishes. That's what everyone likes to talk about. Ian Garry won his last fight via unanimous decision against MVP. Kind of just took him down and just kept him there the whole fight. When he said he was gonna strike with him, I don't know why he did that. But anyway, look, these guys apparently sparred before. Shavkat submitted him. Obviously, that was a while back, and it was in a spar. Not really too bothered about that. But either man have a chance here. Obviously, Ian Garry being the younger man, 27 years old. 15-0, Shavkat's 18-0. But as far as the actual fight goes, I think you have to pick Shavkat here. He's so well rounded. He can knock you out. He can obviously submit you as well. Ian Garry is a very skilled fighter, but I don't think he's on the level of Shavkat. And I hope Shavkat can prove that in this fight. Because I do think if he gets this win, then he definitely deserves a title shot. Before, I didn't actually think he deserved a title shot. Go watch that video, by the way, if you haven't. But yeah, I think if he gets this win, it'll be very good for him, and I do think he will get the win. So yeah. And of course, finally, the main event, Pantoja versus Asakura. Look, man, I like the hype around Asakura and all, and I really do hope he wins. But to be honest, there's literally no world in which I see Kai Asakura winning this. There's very few scenarios. By looking at his highlights, he's predominantly a striker. To be honest, I've never seen him wrestle. Over in Japan, bro, those guys hardly ever wrestle. They're mostly strikers, and it shows in Kai Asakura's fights. He basically only has striking highlights, and obviously we know how good Pantoja is, bro. He's 3-time flyweight champion, or is it 4? Actually, I think it's 4-time. Actually, yeah, I think it's 4-time. Actually, I don't know, but I'm bugging out. But anyway, yeah, bro, we've seen Pantoja. He can wrestle, he can strike. He's so good at everything, to be honest. And to be fair, yeah, I will give it to Asakura. He does have very good takedown defense. If you guys have seen that video with him training with Merab, bloody hell, Merab couldn't even take him down one time, or get a good takedown. So I think that's a Merab problem, I can't lie. He needs to work on that. But anyway, as far as the actual fight goes, I keep on saying that, as far as the flipping actual fight goes. Anyway, in terms of the fight though, I do think Pantoja will win. I really do hope Asakura will win, because then it will literally save the division. A new star, Japanese star, but the only way I see him winning is obviously a knockout. Maybe one of his signature knees. But apart from that, yeah, I've got Pantoja winning this. So yeah, that's about it. I've gone through the main fights of this UFC 310 pay-per-view card in a few days. like I said, people are sleeping on this card. You know, Lowkey is underrated. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, please do like, subscribe, share, comment. It really does help out my channel because obviously, as you guys can see, I don't really have that many subscribers yet. So yeah, please do that. And yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Safe.